Hi, it's Nancy with Real Mom Real Solutions. Today I'm going to go through several DIYs that I made for Halloween this year. Every time that I see DIYs on TikTok or Instagram or whatever, I always think, I wonder how easy they really are to make, how easy it is to get the supplies, and if they're really worth it. So I thought I would post my reviews of all the many different ones that I made this year. And stay tuned for the last one. It actually turned out really good, and I attempted to do a transition between fall and Halloween. It turned out pretty cute.
Whatever, they're way cute. She's just being modest.
But before we get into it, please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get started. Okay, for our first DIY, I made the skeleton inside the cages made out of laundry baskets and hung by a chain. The mini skeleton and the skull and bones that I used inside the two cages I purchased from Walmart. The smaller cage is also made out of smaller baskets that I purchased from the dollar store. The zombie head inside of it was something that I've had in my yard for years. I believe it was originally from Walmart, but it's been so many years ago that I don't even remember. I also put a light on top inside each one of the cages that turns on with a remote and has a timer option. You can choose from many different colors of lights. I got these lights as a 3-pack from Walmart. I thought this project turned out really good, and I would for sure recommend it for any yard. So for this ghost DIY, I decided to try using a clear bowl I purchased from the dollar store and just set it right on top of the tomato cage for the head. On one of the ghosts, I bent the top of the tomato cage down to make it shorter so I could have different heights of ghosts. I taped my lights on the inside of the bowl, that way even the head was lit up. Make sure to use one of the cheap pool noodles from the Dollar Tree, not one of the nice expensive ones. They are way too thick and stiff. It was also really helpful to zip tie it in place where you want it to be. I also recommend putting big rocks or bricks at the base to hold it in place if it's on your porch, or if it's on your lawn, to stake it down. A king-size sheet is the perfect size, and you can actually use the fitted sheet as well as the top sheet and make 2 ghosts out of it. Just cut the elastic off the fitted sheet and you can get some pretty cheap sets on Amazon. This is one of my favorite DIYs, and I think they turned out so cute. For this project, I wanted to point out that the cheap paper towel holders from Dollar Tree work perfect for this, and they do not need to look like the ones she has in her video. But this is the easiest DIY ever to make, and it is so adorable. Now, for this Ghost Garland, the hardest part was finding the supplies. I ended up getting the styrofoam balls from Michael's. You're supposed to have white brads, and I could only find gold, which I got from Walmart, so I just spray painted them white. You're also supposed to have black push pins, and I ended up using metallic straight pins, also from Walmart. And I just cut them short with wire cutters before I put them on. But it was a really fun project that my 14-year-old daughter actually did for me, and I love it hanging on my fireplace. For these rope bats, she doesn't go into a lot of detail on how to wrap the bats. First of all, the rope that you find at Dollar Tree is not with the crafts. It's actually in the hardware or auto aisle. I found that it was easier to take the old tinsel off before wrapping it with the rope. You have to wrap the body first, and in order to do it, you have to cut each piece of the rope and glue it on both ends. You cannot wrap it around the whole body because of the wings being in the way. Once the body is done, you can just wrap the rope around the wings, gluing it at the top and the bottom as you go around. We made the first one, and I decided I was going to hang these bats from my ceiling. And when they turn around, the backside was incomplete because it was meant to hang on the wall. So for the rest of mine, I actually hooked 2 bats together, did both bodies, and then wrapped the wings together so that I was able to hang it from the ceiling, and when it would spin, it would be a full, complete bat. This project took quite a while to do each bat. It was definitely not an easy one, but they did turn out really cute. For this project, they use a Dollar Tree plunger, and they make it into a witch's broom. I was able to find the rope at Dollar Tree as well, but it did take about 2 packs to make it thick enough. I wanted my broom to have a longer handle, so I also purchased one of the brooms at Dollar Tree, and I used its handle and put it on the plunger. It wasn't quite the same thread pitch, so I had to glue it in, but it worked just fine. When I started putting the rope on, I noticed that it was getting really thick around the handle in order to be thick enough to cover the plunger. So I started doing it in layers, and it seemed to work a lot better this way. I love how it can stand up on its own and how perfect it goes with my witch ghosts. So this video that inspired my witch cauldron did 3 cauldrons stacked on top of each other, which I thought looked really cool, but it wasn't what I wanted in my areas. I ended up making 2 of these, a smaller one in my family room and a larger one on my porch. I really liked the idea of the multiple sizes of bubbles, but the store that I went to did not have the small ones, so I may have to update mine next year. For this DIY, we are putting patterns onto candles, and I love this idea because the possibilities are endless. It's so simple and so easy to do. I did a few different ones for fall as well as some for Halloween. On my Halloween ones, I also melted some red crayons on the edges to give it a spooky look, which added so much. For this DIY, I made some Halloween trays. I couldn't find the same plate that she found, and it for sure looks like better quality than what I used, and the possibilities are really endless with this one though. I even tried using a bowl or a skinny long tray. Really, you could use any type of serving dish to change things up. They all turned out really great. So this craft is making skeleton hand sconces. I got the skeleton hands at Dollar Tree, but the wood plaques was purchased from Walmart, and they were a lot thinner than what I wanted. I planned to glue 2 of them together, but I took the last 2 at the store. So I had to cut scrap pieces of wood and glue them to the back where the wrists of the hands was going to go inside. I drilled holes in the plaque, and then I painted them black. I didn't want my hands to stick out as far as the ones in the sample, so I actually cut the wrists a little shorter using a jigsaw. And then I glued the wrists into the hole using an epoxy glue. I used a chalk marker to mark up the edges to make it look more finished. I grabbed some candles while I was at the dollar store, and I also melted red crayons on the edges. Once these were all done, I realized that I should not have centered the holes because the candle rests on the 4 fingers of the skeleton hand and not the thumb. So the candle is being held to the left and is not centered. I should have either slanted the hands a little or drilled the hole off-centered. They turned out pretty good, but I would definitely make those changes next time. This was another extremely easy craft. When I got my candlesticks, they were a champagne color, so I did have to spray paint them black. And then I just simply glued the pumpkin on top and put a tea light in it. It was super easy and really cute. I was really excited about this craft because in my mind, I thought you could make so many different sizes of pumpkins and pretty much any color you wanted. And I thought these kind of pumpkins are so cute. So I ordered a bunch of socks off Shein to get all the different colors that I wanted. And then when they came in, I realized the socks were not as big as I thought. And the biggest pumpkin was still pretty small. But it was really cute craft. My kids loved it, and I actually let them make tons of pumpkins with all the socks. So it was fun and cute, just not as big as I thought they would be. But I'm sure it would depend on the socks that you got as well. On this craft, you will notice that mine is a cat and not a hat. I actually really wanted to do this hat DIY and put it on the ghost on my front porch. However, I could not find these hats at any of the Dollar Trees in my area, but there were cats in their place. So I thought, well, maybe a cat would be pretty cute too. So I did the same project with the cat, but I used the black rope from Dollar Tree that I used on my bats instead of the jute string like she did. The cat looks a little weird, but at the same time, it was cute where I put it, and I didn't regret doing it, but I wouldn't do it again. But I would still love to try one of the hats. This leaf arch idea from Macy Blackwell is absolutely gorgeous. When I did mine, I used garland that I had from previous years that I didn't like in my home anymore because it was way too orange. However, after I finished the archway, it still was way too orange even outside. So I went through and I painted some of the leaves a dark red and a dark brown color. And then I went back again and I painted some of them dark green. And I did like it much better after that. When I switched my porch over to Halloween, I just added the black leaves with the existing orange that was already there, and it turned out really cute. I absolutely love this arch.
Hocus pocus.
I had so much fun making all these DIYs, and I loved how they all turned out. I did make a couple of DIYs of my own that I will be posting shortly, so stay tuned for those. And thank you so much for spending your time with me and watching this video all the way to the end. I'll see you next time.
Ah, Beckett. You being a good boy? Yeah, you are?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep, I love you.
I love you.
I love you.